Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Pit and Paddock Race Show for the second week of September. We're going to start off with the championship race for IndyCar in Nashville. Colton Herta got his first oval win, leaving Pato O'Ward in second, with Team Cheater.com Penske captain Joseph Newgarden in third.
Despite the podium, karma caught up to Team Cheater.com/Penske on lap 14 when Will Power's championship dreams were sabotaged by a seatbelt. He lost 5 laps and gave the championship to Alex Palou.
Well, you reap what you sow, and Penske started the year cheating with their illegal push-to-pass system. So that probably cost McLaughlin the championship too, didn't it?
Yeah. How many points did he get docked?
Whatever what he finished second or third there, and he got docked all those points. So.
Yeah. Will Power got docked the least, but it still wasn't enough to help him win. But yeah, karma came back and bit him. Have you ever seen anybody's seatbelt come undone?
Not that I can remember. I'm sure it's happened before, but probably not as important as in the championship race where.
Yeah. But I mean, aren't they like a 5-point harness?
Yeah.
Where they just have one button in the middle?
I think that's what came undone was.
He couldn't get down and connect the. Okay.
I guess green flag laps aren't a great time to be messing around with.
Yeah.
Seat belts. Well, the race had a great battle at the end between Colton Herta and Pato O'Ward. Luckily for Colton, the moving chicane Stingray Rob was right in the middle of the track while the two leaders were fighting. You know,
the Beavis and Butthead of IndyCar.
Half the time, your laps down, you dive out of the way in the final laps when the leaders are coming by, but I'll just hang it out in the middle. He probably would have got by him anyway, but that made for a kind of a dicey maneuver.
If it was NASCAR, I think O'Ward's team would have went over and started a fight with Stingray's team. How does he still have a ride?
He does not.
Oh, okay.
As of Sunday.
Rasmussen's out too?
I don't know if I've heard on that one.
I'm not going to be able to call him Beavis and Butthead anymore.
We'll find someone else to make fun of.
Yeah.
So that is now 3 manufacturers' championships in a row for Chevrolet.
Man, we need Ford to come back with like another Cosworth engine.
I'm sure IndyCar would love to have a third manufacturer. They should bring back that late 90s kart super speedway package with the Hanford device. Like Michigan and Fontana.
The wing thing?
Yeah.
Stop them from going so fast that they got vertigo?
Or whatever package they had in 2015 at Fontana for that race.
Yeah.
I missed those on the ovals.
I miss good ovals.
Did you notice they put the road course wing package on for that super speedway?
How do they call it a super speedway?
I don't know. Well, it's the biggest track they run on. I thought it was weird seeing the road course package laid flat, because usually they're all the wings are up for maximum downforce, but they laid them all down.
They didn't just run the oval wings too fast.
I guess I don't know. They run the oval wings at Texas, but I guess that whole what is that one? Another 1/8 of a mile bigger or something? I don't know.
They run them at Indy. Indy gets the oval wings, those skinny little front wings that barely exist.
The back one. It's like, that's just a flat piece of metal. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Getting into the race here, Rosenquist had a quick end to his day. He celebrated his new contract extension by hitting the wall. It must have been a great celebration. Good for him.
Not a piñata.
On lap 91, Pietro Fittipaldi asserted his male privilege by appropriating Catherine Legg's air and forcing her into the wall. Another win for the patriarchy.
I thought she was just trying to beat Ed Carpenter's record for crashing out of every race that she races in.
I don't know if it's possible to beat that record.
Yeah, she should get this. They should let her have the oval wings because then it would be harder to hit the wall with the wing.
Bit of a rough day. Marcus Ericsson did a wall check on lap 135 to see if it was still solid. It was.
That's different than a cup check, right?
Yes. Well, that's a little dicey. I don't know. I just remember, I think it was practice I was watching, and they were talking about Rosenquist's brilliant fast-jacking technique to add a little speed in qualifying.
They still have weight jackers in those cars?
Yeah.
Huh.
They said he apparently has some wonderful fast-jacking technique, but the downside is he needs a judge's permission every time he has to leave the state of Indiana. You can't be doing that outside of the state.
Put an ankle brace collar on him when he...
After the race was over, I noticed NBC cut away from the interviews real quick because, I don't know, apparently the FBI or CIA tried to kill Trump again. I don't know. I didn't quite catch the full story.
It was Trump's fault. It was his own fault for people trying to kill him.
Yes.
I heard that on the news.
I wish he wouldn't do that. I think as Nashville, the Busch series ran there in 2008 or 9.
Yeah.
And they had this pastor come out and give the greatest invocation in the history of racing. And he did the IndyCar race invocation too. It was a little more toned down, not quite as good, but it was still pretty excellent. He got some good sponsor plugs into the prayer, which is always fun. And then
can we link that?
I don't.
We'll have to figure out how to link that so people can see it. That was the NASCAR one was great. Thank you God for Chevrolet engines and
my smoking hot wife.
My smoking hot wife. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the smoking hot wife, but I had my doubts.
And I was hoping he was going to run the line again, smoking hot wife, but
yeah, that was the Ricky Bobby line, right?
Maybe they're divorced now. The grandstands were actually full at an oval race, which is a good sign.
Yeah, I thought those grandstands looked kind of small. Like they were full, but it felt like they were really short.
It is a little. They do look a lot more squeezed. It's like they went, we'll leave this here and see how it goes, and maybe we'll build some more grandstands.
Yeah, it's like going to a dirt race level grandstand. There just didn't seem to be very much there.
I think NASCAR has some extra temporary stands on the side during their race.
It looked like let's take some stands down so they don't look empty.
Well, we got quite a few driver announcements over the weekend. Santino Ferrucci ended up signing a multi-year deal with Foyt, which is, I would say he deserved that one.
Foyt's wisest move since letting AJ Foyt race.
Oh, they're also moving their Texas shop up to Indianapolis too, which is probably 20 years too late.
How does that help?
I don't know. I think just because AJ wanted to hang out at the shop and live in Texas, and it was his team, so he could do that. Felix Rosenquist signed for 2 more years with Meyer Shank, which is fine, I guess.
I can't even remember what Rosenquist looks like. He's pretty unmemorable.
It's sort of Northern European looking.
Kind of. Wait, is he the one that kind of looks a little bit like, not Kimmy, the other Dane?
Yeah, probably.
The one with the mullet.
Oh, Valtteri?
Yeah. He looks a little bit like Botox.
He should grow a mullet.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that Pado's going to be driving an FP1 for the Mexico Grand Prix.
He should get some advice from Kimi Antonelli on the first time in an F1 car.
So he'll now he can add a list of Formula One to the list of cars he's driven in Mexico before Indy cars. That's nice. And then I saw that Prima Racing, the new team starting next year, has picked up Callum Millett for the season. I think they have one more driver they're going to announce, but I didn't hear yet on that one.
Does he bring a sponsorship with him?
Probably. Did he run for McLaren a bit? I don't remember what team he was. I remember he ran a few races over the last couple of years.
He's another unmemorable driver.
F2 driver that shows up and is fine.
Yeah. This is the last triple header of the year.
Was it?
Yeah, IndyCar's over, so now all we have is F1 and NASCAR to finish out the year.
Less busy, I guess.
Yep. Next up for IndyCar is nothing. Sadness. Depression if you're Stingray Robin Rasputin. But what are your off-season predictions?
I think IndyCar is going to be talking about possibly getting a new chassis in there. The other one's what now, 30 to 50 years old, I think. But then ultimately that will lead to nothing and it'll stay the same.
Because the teams don't want to spend the money.
I think IndyCar will be talking about a possible international race. We'll probably talk about Mexico, maybe South America, maybe even Asia, but then that'll ultimately lead to nothing and it'll be the same as it was before.
Because the teams don't want to spend the money.
Let's see. I think there will be talk of a new engine manufacturer that could possibly come in. With the hybrid, it's more commercially aligned than the V8 by itself. So, but ultimately, I think everything will stay the same and that'll just lead to nothing.
What has the V8 done for the hybrid? What has that done for the series? I completely forgot they had a hybrid because they didn't have the little battery symbols on the.
Oh, they got rid of them.
Yeah. So I don't even know that they have battery power at this point.
I think at the ovals they crank it so far back so it's not an issue, but I don't even know why. Just because the manufacturers have a lot of hybrid now, so they want they can use that as a way to market. I don't know. I don't understand.
So at the ovals it runs a cooling fan.
Yeah.
And maybe the radio.
The radio. I think IndyCar is going to be talking about a new oval race for next season. But then ultimately, I don't think anything will happen and everything will stay the same.
I'm going to root for Daytona, Pocono, that's the triangle one, right?
Yeah.
And Talladega. Some kind of super speedway. The best racing we've had is on super speedways. And yet they don't go to super speedways.
I could go for a Phoenix race, even though that was not a great race, but I could go to it easily.
Yeah.
And it was cool to walk around the garage.
And don't have the Phoenix race in May.
They should run it with NASCAR Saturday night before.
Oh, that would be great. Saturday night race, IndyCar. Didn't they do a doubleheader Champ Car NASCAR truck in Vegas?
Yes. I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah. You got to see the two crowd. People were like, oh, the crowds are so different. I'm like, no, they're not. Then I got there, I'm like, oh, wait, they are.
It was quite the mix of people.
Yeah, it was diversity. There was a lot of diversity in the crowd. Right. Well, Formula One was in some Muslim country. What was it? Azerbaijan. Yeah.
Is that Muslim? I don't know.
Is it? I don't know. Well, it's between Iran and Russia, so it could go either way.
Sounds like a place I don't want to visit.
Yeah. Where Ferrari reverted to their old strategy and threw away a dominant lead, handing the win to McLaren's Pastry. Leclerc limped to second, and Perez almost had third until he crashed into Sainz, and third place went to Mercedes' George Russell.
Another Ferrari fail. I guess they couldn't have two good strategies in a row.
That was too much to ask. Leclerc starts on pole, builds a huge 6-second lead, which, for the non-Formula One watchers, 6 seconds is a huge lead in Formula One because they don't do yellows. And then somehow lost it when Pastry undercut him. Leclerc's lead went from 6 seconds to 1 second. I don't know how. A one-lap undercut doesn't equal 5 seconds.
Well, when you're counting votes in Georgia, I guess it does.
1 can equal 5. But then somehow Leclerc got past. I still don't know how he let Pastry get past him.
It didn't look like he made a mistake, it was just, he just got by him.
It looked like Leclerc just kind of nodded off for a few seconds on the turn, and yeah, he dive bombed him good.
Maybe they stole the push to pass button.
Oh, from Penske. Mm-hmm. But Leclerc stuck with him, but then cooked his tires trying to get the lead back and ended up having to fight for a second, where Perez, because Perez passed him, once his tires were cooked. Perez passed him briefly, and then Perez collided with Sainz with 2 to go, denying both of them a podium shot, Sainz and Perez. Who do you think was at fault for that crash?
It looked kind of like, it was so close. He just kind of like drifted over slightly, and maybe they both came together, but or he misjudged. He was trying to catch a real good, slipstream off of him and just misjudged barely. But what a disaster. I don't know. I would say it's Trump's fault.
Somehow it's Trump's fault?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I'll put that one on.
Well, Sainz did a good job of helping McLaren jump ahead in the construction championship. Or Perez. Whoever you know what, the thing I looked at where they analyzed it step by step was leaning towards it was Perez's fault. Because Sainz was ahead, and Perez was kind of squeezing him, so anyway.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it all resulted in more points for McLaren and less points for Red Bull since Perez was crashed out. So my theory is that since McLaren uses Mercedes engines, Sainz is going to Williams next year, who also uses Mercedes engines. Maybe there's something in Sainz's contract with Williams that says bonus if a Mercedes team wins the championship.
Very likely.
Yeah.
It also did move Williams up to 7th and 8th in the race, and it moved Williams past Alpine in the Constructors' Championship, so maybe that also throws onto his bonus for next year as well.
There we go. I think that's a reasonable conspiracy theory.
Did that kid immediately jump in and score more points than Logan Sargent in the entire season?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see how horrible Logan Sargent was.
Oh, sad.
American drivers just have bad luck.
Man, only if they ran more ovals in Formula One, huh?
Yeah. They used to run IndyCar back in the 50s. They run the Indy 500.
They should do that again, but they won't ever.
And they actually get to bring their Formula One cars to Indianapolis and run them.
That'd be a lot of...
Yeah.
I don't want that $200 million budget showing up with...
Yeah, maybe not so great.
They'll spend 3 days and be going 260.
Yeah, against our spec cars. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, the battle for the Drivers' Championship saw Norris make a slight gain, 3 points on Verstappen. He finished 4th, Verstappen's 5th. It would have been more, but McLaren blew it in qualifying, and Norris had to fight back from 15th. Verstappen was in 7th. And still Norris managed to pass that Red Bull. Now Norris is down by, here's the math part.
Oh boy.
So Norris is down by 59 points, 7 races to go. The difference between first and second is 7 points. So if Norris wins every race and Verstappen finishes second, the most Norris could get would be 59 points more, and that's 10 short.
He's going to need his teammate to take him out on a race or two.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple DNFs, or maybe he'll have a couple rounds on Trump's golf course, and who knows what happens there.
Strange things happen on Trump golf courses. So yeah, if the former president would just invite Max over for a round of golf, that might help McLaren.
Kind of makes me wonder if McLaren had pushed Lando a couple races earlier for the championship rather than having 2 number 1 drivers.
Ooh.
They could have a better chance at getting the championship there.
McLaren showed their commitment to putting Norris first by sending him out late in Q1 so that when a yellow came out, he got knocked out. What were they thinking? You didn't even give him a banker lap.
It's weird decisions by a lot of teams over the weekend.
McLaren was borrowing Ferrari's strategists.
They're like, hey, we got the best cars now. Now what we're going to do is completely botch the strategy every week, like Ferrari does.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the battle for the Constructors' Championship saw McLaren take the lead over Red Bull.
Fine. Yeah, this was when they finally did it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're up by 20 points now. Ferrari is in third, 31 points behind Red Bull. And it would have been a lot less if not for the Sainz-Perez crash.
Yeah, McLaren still would have taken the lead
Yeah.
even if Perez had finished third. Red Bull brought some upgrades to this race, and it's still not enough. I mean, I don't have any more big collapse comparisons for Red Bull except maybe like the Third Reich or the Soviet Union.
I don't know what else to compare it to.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's confused by Red Bull's collapse. Red Bull seems more confused than everyone. When asked why McLaren was doing so much better, Horner replied by saying, "They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats."
They're eating people's pets. You got to do the New York accent. They're eating the dogs.
I don't have the voice. Thanks to the Sainz-Perez crash, Haas did get a point, but it wasn't by the regular drivers, Oliver Behrman, I believe.
Oh, the sub-driver.
The sub-driver for Magnussen. I'm sure Magnussen would have been out there blocking for him if he could.
Did he also get points for Ferrari when Sainz had his appendix?
Yes, I think he did.
Oh, he's got more points than Logan Sargent's whole career.
In 2 races.
In 2 races. Williams' replacement driver Calipino didn't seem to be doing any better than Sargent at first because he crashed out in FP1.
Oh yeah.
But then he beats his teammate in qualifying and then finishes 8th in the race. So I guess he did okay.
Not a bad showing for your second start.
Yeah.
Albon became a bit of a meme after his team left the cooling fan. Was that practice? Was it qualifying or?
It was the form up lap.
When he drove and just stopped at the end of pit lane and he managed to pull it out.
Yeah.
And was like, "Somebody come take this." And then they show the mechanics down there all looking around like,
who left a cooling fan in the air?
Is that? I don't know whose jump. Who is that? That's him.
When they asked the mechanic that left the cooling fan on the car how he made such a stupid mistake, he refused to explain and instead said that he wanted to be unburdened by what had been.
I'm gonna use that line so much.
Yeah.
Anytime I mess up.
Oh yeah. What did you crashed the car? Can we just be unburdened by what has been?
Sir, you were speeding. Like, look, officer, we just need to be unburdened by what has been.
Yeah, I can use that so many times. Fun fact, the French were advised not to travel to the race in Azerbaijan because of, I don't know, some kind of military dispute between the two countries. So, which meant the teams had to use an alternate weather reporting system because the weather team for F1 is from France, and then they weren't allowed to travel to France.
Interesting.
Yeah. However, avoiding going to the race had no effect on the French racing team Alpine's points haul.
0?
Yeah, still 0.
Weird. I didn't hear that mentioned on the F1 broadcast by Formula One themselves. That's interesting.
Yeah. I got to find out exactly why they don't want French people to go there, but yeah, there's something. I don't know. Maybe it's hostages or something like that. I don't know.
How did the French drivers do? They seem to be okay.
They took American Secret Service agents.
Oh no.
That are actually Homeland Security agents.
Oh.
Next up, the Singapore Grand Prix, which is this weekend. Then F1 takes a month off until the United States Grand Prix.
Another month?
Yeah.
Is this some sort of European mental health break again or something?
Yeah, I thought they only got the month off in August. Now they get a month off in like September to October too.
Everyone sit at home and discuss the joys of socialism, or what do they even do?
Yeah, they talk about how to tax people more and create more programs.
Oh, Europeans.
Yeah.
NASCAR had its second race of the playoffs at Watkins Glen. It was the Chastain von Buescher show. Just ship them all together.
Yeah. It kind of flows.
Sponsored by Curbs Don't Matter.
What was up with the curbs?
That's just flat racetrack apparently.
Like they were like 6 car lengths outside the curbs.
They even went in and put they graded outside of those runoff areas, so it would try to disrupt the car if you drove out too far. But they just went, nah, we're gonna go anyways.
I mean, it worked for a lot of guys.
The day started off looking like all Ross Chastain, but in the end it was a SVG versus Buescher, with Buescher submarine.coming his way. Is that a sponsor? That's right. His way to the win on the last lap. SVG had to settle for second, and Ross Chastain finished fourth behind some random NPC. Hosevar? Hosevar?
I
Ashahu?
never heard of that guy before. Does he race other races, or was he a ringer?
He's been there all season.
Oh, really?
He has steadily improved throughout and is now moving towards the front a little more, but I'm sure eventually someone will hear of him.
Yeah, I thought he was a ringer. I'd never heard his name before. So at the end, I mean, it kind of looked like Buescher did submarine SVG on that turn, but was that a dirty move, or was it just racing?
SVG got into him a bit into turn 1 on that lap. So I even heard in the interview, SVG was like, I kind of messed up going into the bus stop, which let Buescher get close enough to him to make that move. He's like, yeah, he drove in too hard because he knew that if Buescher gets close, he's going to hit him back. But he ended up messing up and got by in that way. No one seemed to be, he didn't seem to be upset by it. It's what's going to happen in NASCAR.
I kind of wonder, should they take out the bus stop chicane and just let him go flat out for that corner?
That maybe. There's a lot of good passing and stuff happening right there. That track is so fast and flowing that it needs kind of a little area with a technical turn. It's a fun track though. Before the race, there was a lot of talk about this tire that Goodyear was bringing that was gonna, fall off like 4 seconds. A lot of great tire wear. But that was kind of a lie, because I really didn't notice much of a difference at all with. It didn't improving the racing. All the drivers said it was pretty hard to pass, even in long runs.
Well, it just wasn't falling off enough at the end of the run.
No, not as much as it was supposed to. It never falls off as much as they say it's going to. So the race did end up being. That's probably why there was more passing this year, is because the race ended up being such a crash fest. Well, we'll start. The drivers made it all the way through a quarter of a lap before a massive incident that took out 2 of the playoff contenders, Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney. Hamlin was still around, but in no position to win. Lap 39, Chastain and SVG have a winning race strategy going and looking to dominate the entire thing when their teammate spun into the rocks with 2 to go in the stage, ruining their pit strategy for the rest of the race.
Were they about to come in, and then the yellow came out before they could get in the pits, right?
They're like, get in now, and then the yellow comes out like right as they're coming around that turn.
Yeah.
Bad luck. Thanks, teammate. So after the pit stops, so they stayed out and they ended up not pitting. They just ran as long as they could.
Yeah, lost some position.
Yeah, so you could see there was tire fall off, but it was like 40 laps into the run. They ended up dropping back, kind of like a rock, losing all their track position. Was it
22? Yeah, the Dillon.
Yeah, Austin Dillon was trying to help Bell into the pits there.
Yeah, he was afraid Bell was going to miss the pit turn, so he gave him a little push.
He was like, I'm not slowing down for your pit entrance, sir. Nope, they're right there. Look, I'll help.
It's like the guy that sees his exit on the freeway and comes from the fast lane all the way across in front of everybody.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not braking.
This is a motor car race.
And then was Harrison Burton, surprisingly, brought out his typical late yellow, trying to recycle all of his tires.
Did he make it all the way around? He was on the rim by the time he got back.
I think he made it back, but they had the caution anyways to clean it up.
Yeah, I really thought he was going to be in the top 3 for the championship.
Then with 3 to go, we had another caution here where Kyle Busch decided that it was his turn to wreck again, like he does every race it seems like now.
Twice? He was in 2 crashes.
That's right, he was in the earlier one too.
And it's feast or famine for Busch. Either he's almost winning Daytona or he's crashing 6 times.
Yeah, it's like 30th place or like top 3 finish, it seems like.
Hey, my man Gilligan had his dependable mid-pack finish, 16th.
He was all over the place during the race too, like way back. I think he was a lap down at one point, and then somehow came back for a decent finish at the road course.
Yeah, road courses aren't really his thing.
I'll take it. So the championship picture after Watkins Glen is we've got Joey Logano locked into the playoffs with his win. In the dangerous area, we've got Byron in 10th, he's not super dangerous. He's got about a 25-point cushion. So behind him is Chase Briscoe and Little Ty Gibbs with a 6-point cushion. And then way back, surprisingly, is Harrison Burton, 20 points behind.
Daytona winner Burton.
Yep.
He emailed us and said he would like to be referred as Daytona 500 winner Burton from now on.
You can't lie with the 500. It was the 400. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Hamlin and Truex are also about 6 and 12 points out of the next round, so they better figure that out in Bristol.
So nobody got knocked out after this round?
No, just dropped. After Bristol this weekend, they're going to cut 4.
Okay. So it's after the 3rd race this year.
The 3rd race
the
is
bottom
the
4 gone.
And they do it that way.
So we can't do any falling jokes this week.
Nope, next week.
Or knocked out jokes. Okay. Like trying to box in women's Olympic boxing.
I could win a medal.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Apparently we can both be in Olympic women's boxing. So
that's the best way to win.
I'll come up with a good joke for that next time.
Ford won its 4th race in a row, surprisingly, and is closing the gap on Chevy for the Manufacturers' Championship. They're now 26 points behind.
Early bloomer.
Yeah. Early in the season, it looked like Chevy was going to run away with the thing, but Ford's kind of come on pretty strong there since the playoffs. Quick note about the Busch Series race. Connor Zilic dominated the field that included Ty Gibbs and SVG also.
Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to run that Busch race.
He is the 2nd youngest winner in the Xfinity Series, and earlier this year he won the 24 Hours of Daytona and 12 Hours of Sebring, along with some late model oval races and ARCA oval races. So look for him to be the next big name in NASCAR. He signed with Junior Motorsports next year, so he's going to run the full Xfinity Series. So that'll be...
Everybody will be trying to figure out how to pronounce his last name for the next couple of years.
Yeah. He was... I think he won the first stage by like 12 seconds over the second place guy, and he's going to be good.
Zilic? Wasn't there a monster on Clone Wars name that was called the Zilic?
The Zilic? Sounds like Admiral Zilic.
Admiral Zilic.
That sounds like a name.
Failed me for the last time. Ooh, paint jobs. Everybody's favorite part.
Paint schemes.
Yeah.
Obligatory. Meat and Bone Car was in the race, so that's always going to get a mention. It's still my favorite name. But I would say I'm going to go with Juan Pablo Montoya's number 50 Mobil 1 car, mostly because it kind of felt like the broadcast didn't mention Juan Montoya at all during the race, if I could remember.
I completely forgot that Montoya was in that race.
was looking at the results after. I was like, oh, what happened? I saw him at one point in like 13th or 10th. It's like, but something happened to his car and he ended up 30th or so.
Yeah, I remember thinking, isn't Montoya in this race? I haven't even heard about him.
Didn't show him.
I went with my man Gilligan's car, the Boozy Jerky car, for obvious reasons. Didn't Kimi Räikkönen once have a Perky Jerky car?
I think he did run the Perky Jerky
Perky
car.
Jerky car, yeah. What's next? The Cocaine Jerky car?
Acid Spot Jerky?
Fentanyl Jerky?
Cat Jerky? The cats and the dogs? Oh.
COVID Booster Jerky.
Nanobot Jerky.
Yeah. They put nanobots in the jerky. They're tracking us.
Oh, no. Jerky's going to turn the frogs gay.
I hope we see more boozy jerky.
I've never heard of this product, but
yeah.
I would try it.
Why not just go with, boozy jerky? Who come up with that? How about just drunk jerky? That seems like that would sell more.
Why do you need to mix it? Just, have a drink and have some jerky. We don't need to...
I don't know. Perky jerky didn't make it either.
No, that's not surprising. Some of the worst paint schemes. Well, mine's not terrible, but AJ Allmendinger was in a Go Bowling car. Mm-hmm. It's the paint scheme wasn't bad, but I looked at it and I thought that Go Bowling should be sponsoring Austin Dillon after his Richmond win, or after his Christopher Bell. He seems like the bowling type.
I really thought the Go Bowling was in reference to how NASCAR races their cars. Was that like a real sponsor for the Glen?
I guess some sort of bowling. Big Bowling apparently sponsors the car, I guess, is what it is. But it seems like very fitting for a NASCAR road race.
I know. My worst car was McDowell in the number 34 Bennabone car, because at first the hood I thought it was like a Christmas scheme or something, but the more I looked at it, the more confused I got. I have no idea what that was supposed to be.
A Bennabone, and it had odd shapes and red and green and.
Yeah, what was that? Like stuff the dog tore up, or
I couldn't get a good look at it on TV. I have no idea what it is.
That was weird. And I also had to call out Logano in the Xfinity race. Logano's number 15 Panini car, which looks like it was painted with Hooker brand eyeshadow.
Is that the one that was like light pastel
lavender
colors, like
salmon and like peach? I don't know what that thing. It was all powdery too.
Yeah,
that was horrible.
What is Panini, anyways?
I don't know. I think it's pan means bread, so something to do with bread. And then why do we have Bed Bath & Beyond cars? Who does Bed Bath & Beyond think they're marketing to? And if they're going to have a Bed Bath & Beyond car, shouldn't they also have a My Pillow car?
They should. But I thought Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business. They closed all the ones around here. And then why are they sponsoring two different cars? You see they're on like Barry and Gregson's car.
It's whoever's in charge of the bankruptcy. It's like, come on, let's spend some money so the creditors don't get it. We'll sponsor NASCAR. Yeah, we can get good seats at the races if we do that.
Ooh, sweet tickets.
Come on.
Let's go.
Or, whoever the judge is in charge of receivership. Because I think they didn't go Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I think they went full on Chapter 13. Like, we're out of here bankruptcy.
We're done.
Yeah. It's not like the Chapter 11, hey, can I just not pay people back bankruptcy? Yeah. Or who was the comedian that said they were going to rebrand it Bed, Beer, and a Blonde?
Well, that's a good business strategy right there.
Yeah.
Next up for NASCAR, the cutoff race for the first round in Bristol, which is a half-mile concrete short track. That's Saturday night. Is that race?
That should be the Go Bowling sponsor right there.
It's going. Ooh, some big news. The Busch race Friday night. Dale Jr. is making a little comeback start in the race, so that'll be fun.
Really? He's going to come not win a race there too?
He ran it last year and was leading when his car caught on fire and he had to drop out.
Wait, he's won more races than Danica though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's got a good amount of wins. Not as much as his father, but he's a solid driver.
That's the Bristol night race.
Yeah.
They should do it with either headlights only, like don't light up the track, just everybody use their headlights or night vision goggles.
Oh man, I think there's already enough hitting each other.
Is there 2 lanes in that track?
If they make it, sometimes it depends on how the tires are usually.
That's the one that's really nicely banked, right?
Yeah.
It's like being in the Chili Bowl. You're just pretty much leaned over and turning all the time.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, in other news, racing news, Hyundai has announced they're going to try and field an IMSA car under their pseudo-luxury brand Genesis, but only if they can get an aid package from the United States. So.
I wonder if they're going to be easy to steal also.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
People just driving away in the paddock.
Where's all the cars? I don't know. They were Hyundais.
Grab the Hyundai. Oh, no.
Look, I got a thumb drive and a cell phone. I can take the Hyundai. That should have been the joke. I was joking about South Korea can't live without American aid, but I forgot about the stealing part. That would have been a lot better.
Car's gone again. In world endurance news, Ferrari and Toyota have conceded the championship to Porsche, so Germany leads the Axis yet again.
Yep. I was going to make a joke about, like Germany and the master race, but they're really touchy about that now in Germany.
They don't care for it.
Yeah. It's like I think you can get kicked out of stuff for even mentioning World War II and certain leaders.
Nothing happened. Move along.
Nothing. Eurozone, stronger together. That's it for the show. We'll be back next week with NASCAR and Formula One.
No more IndyCar.
No more IndyCar. Maybe they'll, I don't know, get another engine next year. I think we would have heard about it by now.
Yeah, they would have had to have started like a year or two out.
Yeah. Hey, in non-racing news, surprisingly, the Reagan movie made the top 10 last week.
Oh, I need to see that.
Yeah, and so did the Babylonian Bee movie. What's it? I can't remember what it's called. I think they're making fun of white people.
Oh, am I racist or something?
Oh yeah, they're making fun of white people who are ashamed to be white people. That one made the top 10, and it's granted there's not a lot of great movies in September, but
oh well, it looks pretty funny.
Yeah. I'll get both of those when they stream. I don't think I'm gonna pay money and
pass on the theater.
Yeah, I like the movies if it's like an exciting big movie. If it's like more of a drama.
You could do those at home. The smaller drama like type of movies that don't need a giant sound system.
Yeah, I mean if it's not things blowing up and or what was the one that you saw at the Sphere in Vegas that was like something to do with nature?
Oh, they have that little like documentary that they do in there, which was interesting. I wouldn't go again, but it was worth seeing if you're up there.
Oh yeah, the nature ones are good to see on the big screen.
Yeah,
we went and saw the last Earth movie, the BBC series that they turned into a movie.
Those are great.
Yeah,
especially with the big 4K TV type of watching
on the big screen with what's the guy's name? Attenborough.
Oh, he did it. Yeah, he did the British version.
Yeah.
And then we got shafted with like Oprah or someone for the American PBS version.
But in the movie, it was Attenborough.
Good. Yeah, that's the one that I like watching.
Yeah. Good job and everything, Oprah, but I don't really want to listen to your voice for that long.
Was he the one that started Jurassic Park, or was that his brother?
Oh.
David? I don't remember.
I forget. In the beginning of the movie, the park owner says, we got so-and-so to do the voice. I forget who it was. Kylie Minogue? No.
Someone. Anyway.
Okay.
Right. That's it.
See you next week.